Oh, you're living it?
Okay, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. All right. So I just got a bunch of new art supplies, and I figured I would post doing swatches because I don't know. So I got these Copic Sketch skin tone markers, which are really high quality. I have another set of Copics, but I have the Chow markers, so I decided to get the sketch markers. Just for skin tones because I use skin tones so much. And then I also got this set of Prismacolor skin tone markers. And I've never used the Prismacolor markers before, so I'm gonna test those out. So, let's see. I'll start with the Copics because I already have those open and like in order. So Copics are brand names, so everyone kind of knows a bit about them already. They're thick, they have a wide barrel, they fit well in your hand no matter what size your hand is, and you can feel how much ink they have in them, which is really nice. I like that a lot. They're really clearly labeled. And of course, the label almost always actually matches what you get inside the marker, which is also a really big perk, because a lot of markers don't do that. So I'll start swatching these now. I already know how these nibs work. The alcohol smell is very strong right now. It's stronger than it is with the Chows, actually. Maybe that's just because there's more ink or because they've never been opened before, but these have a super strong smell. I already know how these nibs work. They work very well, always. They're super high quality. The ink is super high quality, and it gets to really light shades, which is also really nice. Because you can't always get super light shades with other kinds of markers. So, I haven't used this color before, this E00, E with 3 zeros. I missed one there. The pale fruit pink. I've used normal fruit pink though. I have used this one before, this cotton pearl. It's just E00. I use this one a lot, actually. Because it's currently the lightest skin tone I have, but not anymore, I guess. This one, the E11, I've never used before either. It's kind of a light peachy tan, which is nice. Here, I can't line those up anymore. They don't balance well enough. This tea rose looks really pretty. I've never used most of these before, actually. I think the E00 might be the only one I've used before. That is E93. this is E15. That's a pretty color. I really like that one. That's gonna come in handy for shading. And then E18. Okay, so there's not a huge range here. The colors are very clearly very skewed to the lighter side. There's only really one darker skin tone, and or at least only really one darker skin tone that you can shade. There's two possible darker skin tones, but you don't have a color that you can shade this darkest skin tone with, so that's kind of useless. So that's disappointing, but I already have a much larger set of these, so I can actually shade them with my larger set, but it's very disappointing that in a skin tone set they're so skewed towards the lighter side of the skin tones, especially because I know a lot of people will buy the smaller sets because they're trying not to spend so much money on the larger sets. So that could be an issue for someone who's trying to get the smaller set because they can't afford a larger set, is that there's not a lot of darker skin tones. All right, so I'll line those up there because they look cool. It's all very nice. All right, so now on to the Prismacolor markers. So, let's see. So the Prismacolor markers come in this paper kind of cardboard box, which I knew, like I've seen them around, but it's not very nice, and also it's huge. It's not a very attractive box. There's not like an address anymore on here. Yeah, okay, so I was just making sure that my local art store's address was not on here because I don't want that out there. Also, this was $60 for 24 markers, which is a lot. Not really compared to like Copic prices, but for that to be a sale was kind of extreme. So they're super expensive for honestly really crappy packaging. Because if you look at this, even the inside packaging is kind of weird. It's like flexible plastic, so you don't want to keep them in this box because it's just not worth it. It's not an attractive box. And then the packaging of the marker itself, it's got like a paper wrap on it even, and it's very light. So I don't know where all the money is going that these are supposedly worth, but hopefully there's something interesting going on inside this marker. I've never used them before. I probably shouldn't be like roasting them this hard. I'm sure the nibs are wonderful because it's Prismacolor, it's a name brand, people use them, people love them. But I really don't like the packaging. I don't think it's very attractive, and I don't like it. So let's see. I'll try it out. It's also this weird, like, it's not lining up. The packaging doesn't line up. That's really annoying. It shouldn't be, but it is. So let's try it out. They are all labeled very clearly, which is nice. They have like 3 different names written on each one. They have the logo. Each one has like a barcode and a number. So that's, I guess, a plus. It does have a large barrel. It doesn't roll around very much, but I don't know. Good chance I'm going to prefer the Copics. This has a very large nib. Let's see. If you compare it to the Copic, the nib is a lot longer and a lot thicker. I'm not sure how stiff it is in comparison, but it is different. Can I get the cap back on that? There we go. Okay. That took a hot second. All right, so let's see. All right, so the color does accurately match what's on the cap very closely, which is really nice, and it's super light, which is not something you see a lot in markers. And it does have a very stiff nib, which I tend to like. I know some people like them less stiff. I prefer stiffer nibs. So I have several skin tone sets right now. I have this one that I just got from Prismacolor. I have this one from Copic, and then I have one that I've had for a while from Ohuhu. That's the 24 color skin tone set, which I think has been my favorite skin tone set so far, but I also haven't gone all the way through this Prismacolor set yet, so we'll see what happens. I like the range of undertones in this skin tone set, I will say that. Like, I like how there's some pinker, some kind of greener, some yellowy. That's really nice. But I will also say it's pretty obvious to me that these are meant to be undertones. I think it's very clear that these markers are meant to go under colored pencils. They're not meant to be a final product. Because Prismacolor is a colored pencil brand, I definitely understand that. I understand why they did that. I don't really have a problem with the actual way these markers work so far, but their packaging is still annoying me. They're not particularly easy to access either, the way that they're stacked, which is pain, in the nicest way possible. So I'll probably put them into a bag of some kind once I'm done swatching them. That's a really pretty color. The markers, the labeling also doesn't really seem to have any kind of order to it. There's some that are single digits, and there's some that are in the triple digits. And they don't really have any distinction based on color or shade or tone. There's just, this is the number that it has, which is a little irritating, because even Ohuhu markers, which don't really have an order to them, do have some kind of labeling method to the madness, but this is just a little out there, at least in my opinion. That's a really pretty color too. So that's a very orangey peach. That's what color? Where's the peach? That's not the peach. That's the peach. Should I have put these in number order? I can't even tell. Because there's not really any method to it, it seems. Oh, that one's interesting and a little dry. Nice. All right, well. That's a really pretty color. I like the color selection. I like the way the ink works. I like the markers themselves, but everything aside from the ink and the nibs is a series of disappointments so far. All right, let's see. I want to test out the blending, and I want to test out the bullet nib. So I'll pick a darker color to test out the bullet nib. Let's use this one, this darker color. So the lighter colors really closely match what's on the cap. The darker colors, not so much. Like this from here to here doesn't really match what's on the cap, but these really do, which is interesting. So let's see how the bullet nib works. Okay, so it's a little juicier than your standard bullet nib, and it's a little bit more chiseled as well. It's not flexible, though. Then, let's see, let's blend this blue and this green together. So it's not a flexible chisel nib. Or not a flexible bullet nib, but it is a little chiseled. You can get a little bit of depth and rotation with it. These layer very strongly, which is nice. Like you can get a lot of depth of color with just one marker. And there's not a lot of streaking. And they seem to blend pretty well. It takes a few passes, but like that's a really smooth blend there. It's not really crazy visible on camera. Let's see if I can get closer to that. But that's a super smooth blend there, which is really nice. It's really pretty. So, I may have been a little bit disappointed in them at the beginning, but I actually really liked the way that they turned out. So that's the Prismacolor markers and the new, or my new, they're not the new, Copic Sketch markers. Let's see. So, I don't know, the Copic markers were not packaged particularly well either, but I already have, but certain Copic markers are packaged very well. Others are just kind of in boxes. It depends on which set you get. And for both kinds of markers, they do sell like boxes and bags specifically for the markers that you can get. I have not invested in them. I just kind of keep my markers in Ziplocs, but that is a possibility. And it seems that Prismacolor wants you to do that. So that's a little bit annoying. But anyways, these are the swatches, and yeah. So those are the Copic markers. Here, I've got my pencils in the way. I'll move that. So these are the Copic markers. Again, blank on one side, fairly heavy, fit in your hand well. And these are the Prismacolor markers. Not very well packaged, big waste of space on the packaging. Fairly light, but still fit in your hand well, still don't roll, and fairly closely match the cap. Right. So, thank you for watching, and I don't know. That's it. All right, bye.